Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Here, 28 people died as a result of police pursuits in the last year, the highest level for 8 years. And most of them, according to new figures, were bystanders or passengers. The Independent Police Complaints Commission is now reviewing whether new police safety or training is needed. Their report also shows 6 people died in police shootings, another steep rise on the previous year. And this doesn't include a series of police-related deaths in recent weeks, as our senior Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel now reports.
Darren Cumberbatch died 9 days after he was arrested in Nuneaton. Adair Frederico da Costa, known as Edson, died 6 days after officers tried to detain him. A 16-year-old died in Wimbledon after the moped he was on collided with a police car. And Rashan Charles died after being restrained by a police officer in a shop in North London. All 4 happened within the past 5 weeks, and all following contact with police.
No justice! No justice!
The weekend's death of Rashan Charles brought friends and relatives onto the streets to protest outside their local police station. They're anxious his death becomes much more than just a statistic. Today, the Independent Police Complaints Commission published figures for all police-related deaths in the last financial year. Among them were 32 killed in road traffic incidents, the highest figure recorded in the last 8 years. 28 were the consequences of police chases, and that's more than double the figure for last year.
None of those were emergency call-outs, and in 2/3 of them it wasn't the driver of the vehicle, it was a passenger or a bystander who was killed.
So that is quite worrying, isn't it?
It is of concern, and that's why we want to be looking and talking to the National Police Chiefs Council and others about whether there are any underlying causes to this, whether there are any changes needed to either police training or safety procedures.
In response, police chiefs said, "We are considering with the Home Office how new technology can improve safety standards." But pursuits are not the only increase raising concern. There are police fatal shootings too. This one on the M62 in West Yorkshire is one of 6 in the year to March, the highest number on record for 12 years. And this one is still under investigation. But the IPCC says incidents like this should be seen in the context of thousands of firearms operations being carried out every year. When student Cheney Lewis died after being restrained by officers in this hospital in 2010, total deaths that year linked to police contact numbered just over 150. This year, the IPCC's figure is 231.
I think there's still an unacceptable number of people who are dying after coming in contact with the police.
Would you expect numbers to be falling?
If the learning was to come out of the investigations and inquests, I would expect a reduction in deaths. And the fact
across the board?
Across the board. And the fact that this is not happening does suggest problems with police culture, with leadership, and with lack of investment by government into alternatives to police custody.
Much of this has been addressed by a Home Office commissioned review into deaths in custody and the treatment of families. Only publication has been delayed until September. So not much comfort then for those campaigning for transparency now in response to more recent deaths linked to the actions of police.
Simon Israel reporting.